Motorsport Radio, it's Leicester here, and we are at the start of the British Formula 3 season at Alton Park, and I'm stood with Nick Vorm. Hi.
Hello.
Nick, glad we've got the issue of your pronunciation of your name out of the way. I just want to clear up for everybody. I have always said that it was Nick Vorm and not Worm, as everybody said.
Yeah, it's correct. It's the German pronunciation of the name. There's a city called Worms in Germany, which is where the name comes from.
Glad we cleared that up, so you heard it here first. So Nick, so you're brand new to car racing, really. The media day a few weeks ago was the first chance that you had to test a car, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few tests in Formula 4 before, like 2 tests with Möcke and RSC. But this is one of my first times in the F3 car. It's my 10th test day, and the progress is doing well. This is my first race weekend ever.
Do you have any expectations at all?
No, the expectations are just to get the car home safe and get as much of experience that I can.
So you came from Germany, obviously. You're sort of fresh out of karting. I suppose you had different options as to where to race in 2017. Why did you choose the British F3 season? You could have done something in Germany.
Yeah, the biggest reason why was that the racing time here is very, very well managed. And for example, in other series like Germany, there's a lot of crashes which happen, which of course reduce the time that you actually can gather experience and use for yourself to get to know the car, get to know racing and gather experience.
Okay, and what's the sort of long-term goal for you then? And maybe I'm asking a bit too early. Your first car race weekend, but you must have some sort of dreams where you want to end up.
Sure, I mean, my biggest goal today or this weekend is just to come home with confidence that I can build up for the next couple of races and maybe get in the front of the middle field with the end of the season and build up for next year.
And long term, next year, and maybe where do you see yourself in maybe, I don't know, 3 or 5 years' time?
Next year definitely we're doing another season of F3, and I'll try to use the confidence and the experience that I gather here to further on develop into the world of Formula cars or even touring cars, which is not yet determined.
How fun are these cars to actually drive? I'm sure there's a very steep learning curve for you in your first car weekend, but that aside, how much fun are you actually having so far?
I mean, the fun is incredible. It's of course a whole new level of having to drive vehicles with a lot of downforce like these cars have, and it's of course a much harder learning process that I have to go through for having to catch up with others which already have experience in Formula 4, or even with these cars with the amount of aerodynamics which they use while driving.
Yeah, presumably, like I said earlier, you had an option of which championships to go in. British Formula 3 seems like a big leap, really, to go from karting straight into one of the world's most renowned formulas, British F3, with such a massive, huge, long history and such a prestigious history as well. Could you have perhaps stayed an extra year in karting? Because some people I know who've maybe moved up too early have had their careers not progress in the way they wanted it to because they moved up too early. Could you have stayed in karting extra for another season, perhaps?
Initially, that was the plan, and we were just making a test with Hillspeed itself, just to see how I handle the car itself and how I react to a big change of downforce. But the surprise to the team and to myself was that I handled it quite well for the first test. They were very pleased, and so was I, which was then giving me, of course, the confidence to stay here and progress here earlier than instead of doing another year of karting, which would give me the advantage of learning what I have to do now than having to do it next year.
And for you, sporting heroes, who do you look up to, if anybody, in motorsport or in life in general?
I'd say Michael Schumacher is one of my, of course, biggest idols. So is Sebastian Vettel, which is, of course, one day the dream goal to reach where they have reached. But of course, not everyone reaches, but we have to stay optimistic and say that I have the possibilities to make it.
So, Nick, Vorm, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck in your first car racing weekend, round 1 at Alton Park of the British Formula 3 Championship.
Thank you very much.